How do I begin this? I haven't been on this channel for so long, and honestly, I don't even know if anyone would even care. But here I am, making a video because I thought future me will probably appreciate this more than past me. So I don't forget that this is an event that did happen, and this is not something that my mind just decided to make up. What am I referring to? I am referring to going to Permission to Dance in LA. I went for day 1 and day 2. And before anyone asks, I have been in Army for 4 years, since they debuted in the AMA stage. I did knew about them a year before, but I didn't really follow through until a year later. But you probably don't care about that at the moment. That's not the reason why you click on this video. I'm going to talk about my 2 experiences, my 2-day experience there. I mean, I've been in LA for more than that for that trip, but I'm only going to talk about those 2 particular dates. So, day 1, we went very early in the morning to go get some merch, because we realized that through online that the merch line was abnormally, extremely long, and we did not want to go through that. So we decided to go and get onto the stadium campus around 7:50, and it was long. It was getting towards out of the gates of the stadium long, and we stayed there for about 5 hours. 5 very long, very hot hours. Like, if anyone even saw me, I was that person at some point covering my friend with some shade so she wouldn't die, because she decided to wear all black outfit, long sleeve and all that with bells and whistles, and I was trying to help her not get heat stroke. Not saying she got heat stroke, but I'm just saying she was sweating, and I was like, okay, let me help you out, you know? But she told me afterwards she got worried because she thought people were going to think she was pretentious. In reality, I was just trying to help her not die. But besides that, we finally got out of the merch line around 1 or 12, I can't remember, one of those 2. The sun was really high at that point, and we went back to our Airbnb, and then came back for the YouTube theater for day 1. And it was really, really complicated how to get there, because security guards weren't giving clear directions of where we're supposed to go. And when we did get there, we got through no problem at that point with our tickets and our vaccines cards. And we didn't realize there was we were looking for the random card selector thing. We didn't know where it was in the first floor. We were looking for it. We were like, where is it? Where is it? Is it outside? Did we miss it? And we asked a random card. He was like, oh, yeah, that's on the 4th floor. And we're like, 4th floor? Okay. So we went up, and there was like a whole bunch of activities. There was the card thing, there was the photo booth thing for VIP, I think. There was the big giant board thing. You'll probably see it on screen. It was like a big giant board thing that you could like stand in front of and take a picture in, which was so cool, and it was super cute. And me and my friend then hustled back into the theater, sat down on our seats, and even before the concert started, people were just vibing. Like, people were doing the fan chants, people were singing along. Where we were sitting behind some girls. They were very hype. I only can visibly remember that one of the girls behind me, she was a very strong J-Hope stan, and I can tell because every time Homeboy came on screen, she was screaming bloody murder, and I, of course, also screamed too. But YouTube theater vibes for day 1 was fun. Everyone was cheering, everyone was singing along, everyone was also doing the fan chants when we could. Also, there was that moment where even though the wave was directed towards the stadium audience, even inside the YouTube theater we were doing it, and it was so much fun. Even though it's just for us to see, I saw some security guards down below like taking video of us doing the wave inside the theater. So that was really fun. Did not cry during Black Swan. I don't know what I'm talking about. I did not cry. I did shed a tear during Black Swan. I always want to see that live, and I think this video I captured right at the tail end of their big, giant intro, where I was like crying, trying not to cry, and I started singing. Oh my gosh! And of course I caught the moment where Tay swore, and that took me off guard. All in all, that whole first day experience was fun. Everyone was fun. Everyone has a good time. There were some hilarious people in my section, myself included. I made some people laugh because I kept talking about Jesus and Jesus Part 2, and there was a person that looked like Harry Potter, but it wasn't Harry Potter, but I kept swearing that it was. I don't know, maybe that's concert euphoria getting to me and making me say nonsense. But for first day experience, it was fun. What happened afterwards, though, with the whole taxi situation was not. Like, a lot of armies were struggling to get rides home, ourselves included, and we were walking, me and my friend were walking through the whole stadium. We probably went, maybe not full circle, like half circle basically, around it, trying to find phone signal to call an Uber. And even still, Uber crashed, Lyft crashed, a lot of apps crashed where drivers refused to take our rides. Gee, I wonder why. And along the way, we saw some armies that had some problems. And so, of course, we took some armies in and come walk along with us. Because, you know, you're better in groups anyways in a big area where you're not familiar with. And it's not good to be alone, you know. At least that's what the taxi driver told us that night. You know, you shouldn't be walking a few blocks alone. So when I saw some armies that are like still struggling, we're like, oh, come with us, you know, come struggle with us, don't walk alone, you know. We didn't really go home until like 2 a.m. We were in front of a liquor store across the stadium, and my sister's friend, who was in Georgia, by the way, called us an Uber finally. And the guy who we were talking to, I saw that taxi driver around earlier, and I was thinking, man, I wish I could beat those people. Chances of that happening was little. When we were talking to that taxi guy, the taxi guy was asking about like how he never seen a crowd like this before. He'd never heard the stadium being this loud. He wanted to learn everything about BTS, and me and my friend were just dishing the details to him. He was very open-minded. He was very chill and cool, and me and my friend got home and we crashed, and we were glad that we went to the merch line that day. So when we came in the next day for our day 2 of PTD, we only had to do was show up and enjoy the experience. Now me and my friend for day 2 showed up around 3. Our only mission that day was to get a picture in front of that permission to dance sign in front of the stadium. Took us 3 hours to get there. But when we did, we realized that we had to hustle to the first and second gate, because we were up in the 500s. We were from section 511, row 511, row 21. I don't remember my seat number. It was between 15 or 16. If you know who I am, hey. I just remembered we were struggling to find where row 2 ended. And when we did, we were just sitting there, walking along the line with some armies. They were really chill to talk to. I didn't say much because I'm an introvert. My friend mostly talked for the most part. But if whoever you are cool people. Hopefully we'll see some of each other again someday. Day 2 was a different experience where I had like a crisis where I felt like it was a dream. Day 1 felt like a concert. Day 2 felt like a dream. Because not only because we were far way up in the nosebleeds, probably the max back you can get. And not just because we were so far high up that BTS and anyone in the ground floor seats looked like little tiny ants. Our brain couldn't capture that this was reality. And this is not a dream. But for the most part, it was fun. I mean, at least in our section, there was a group of people that was making sure the vibes were not down. And of course, me and my friend were like, we were cheering, we were saying the fan chants, we were singing along. And even though my Korean was not perfect, I'll admit that, I at least tried to fumble along and said the words I knew that I was confident saying, say the fan chants that I know by heart, because your girl knew when Young Forever was playing along. You know your girl had to sing along to the chorus. Same thing with Save Me. And I'm drinking grape juice. My throat's getting dry. And all the other songs in that set, we were making sure that they were being heard from way back there. And the wave. Some people were trying to do the wave before BTS even asked for the wave, and it wasn't 100% successful, but it was but nonetheless, even though it was from way back over there, I guess my only complaint would be that not because where I was sitting. And it was not even for the fact that I've seen online people were complaining about, oh, I can't hear the fan chants, but I don't think it's not even that. I think my complaint is, and I'm surprised no one complained about this, is that the use of screens. Because Sophie Stadium, I don't know if y'all saw, they had this big giant circle screen. I know they use that for sport events, because I've been to a soccer game back at home, and that is usable for live video. So I'm just sitting, I'm like, why Sophie Stadium didn't utilize that screen for the people in the back to see BTS? Because the people who were off on the sides that couldn't see the main screen had a TV size screen basically, and I was behind a tall person, so there were times where I had to break my neck to see what was going on, either on stage or on screen. I had to pick. So that was a little bit of a hiccup I went through, but it still didn't ruin the experience for me. If anything, the only hiccup in the road that kind of took away the experience wasn't the concert itself. It was after getting right home again, because we found the designated taxi area, but then after a certain point, people working for the stadium kicked us all out onto a different road, and we were out there to defend ourselves. Now, lucky for me, I guess lucky for us, I really should say, I happened to ran into a taxi and just told my friend that let's take a leap of faith and take this taxi, because no one was in it. It was a legit taxi and it had a tag. So me and my friend went in there, and it was the chillest, most cool taxi. He spoke Spanish to us, and we talked to, well, my friend talked to him in Spanish. I didn't say anything because my Spanish wasn't that great. And he was talking about how a lot of taxis don't want to take fans from the stadium because that's just a lot of work. Too much work to go in, too much work to go out for a little money. So that's why there were taxis that were overcharging fans $200-$300 for what should have been like a $30, $20 trip, you know. And look at the taxi we went to charge us reasonably the same if we were going there during the day. So to any armies who are going through LA, I'm just saying, if you by any chance know Spanish, go to a Hispanic yellow taxi, man. They'll charge you correctly, and they will not overcharge you like the black SUV taxis that I've been seeing. And the only purpose they were there is trying to take advantage of the disadvantaged. Because nobody should be going home with $100 for a $30 trip. It's ridiculous. But besides that, it was a fun experience. The people I've met along the way during this whole thing were fun. And I get to see finally the Army Ocean that people were talking about, and it was absolutely beautiful. I took so many pics of that I don't know what to do with. My word. Just my whole trip to LA in general was fun. Like, just side note, I was there since Thanksgiving and we left on the 30th. So the whole day we were at Hollywood at Line Friends. We waited in line for 3 hours, got my merch, went out, enjoyed Hollywood for the whole day. And then our last full day after the day 2 concert, we went to Universal. Still kicking myself in the head because I should have told my friend let's go to Six Flags and we could have ran into Jen. So yeah, that was a regret. But either way, live and learn, right? I still had fun during Universal. I always wanted to go there too, so I have no regrets about that either. So all I gotta say is that to the people who are complaining about they couldn't hear fans cheer or the crowd was dead, if you weren't there, please don't say anything. Because I experienced BTS behind a screen for 4 years. And what is behind a screen does not capture what was the reality of those 2 days. Because even though I was up in the nosebleeds, and I maybe couldn't see the boys for like a good quarter of the show because not only my height, but because of where I was physically sitting, I still had fun. I still had fun with the people around me. And the people who were shamelessly, we were throwing the plastic in time in the fan chants back here, screaming our hearts out. Well, I was being careful because I already lost my voice in the first day, but that's not the point. Don't let people take away first time experiences for you, right? Because this was my first time experience finally seeing them. And honestly, I would still do it again. But this time, hopefully, they would be in our neck of the woods in the US. Please come to the South. That's all I ask. Well, I'm gonna stop before I start mumbling. So, until we meet again, y'all. Love y'all.